So we have talked about Steven Crowder here on the show before, and there were a lot of Steven Crowder social justice warriors that he likes to claim that there are a bunch of other social justice warriors, but he's got his own pack. So we're going to get into this, but he did another hit job on Bernie Sanders because that is what he gets off on, as well as the TYT videos. But anyway.
So silly. I love this. He was confronted by a small business owner. And to those of you out there on YouTube who are mad that we trash Bernie, trigger warning.
My question is this. I'm a business owner, and we just keep getting kicked in the teeth by this administration.
So silly.
1 or 2%. By doing
some sounds. Yeah, I just don't want to be rude. Cool. So I answered your question. I felt like I answered it.
When you have a guy like Steven Crowder who doesn't even want to listen, who doesn't want to engage, well, then you get this conservative establishment mentality of.
There's always going to be... Okay, so first of all, let me give you a little precursor. So what the environment was it was Ted Cruz versus... who is it? Ted Cruz versus Bernie Sanders, obviously, on Obamacare. So there was a question asked to Bernie Sanders. She was like, hey, I have 5 salons, 5 businesses, 5 entities, and I have 48 or like 47 employees. If I go over 50... I'll have to pay them all health insurance, and it's going to cost me a ton of money. So, first of all, I have 2 points to make. First of all, there were no statistics provided by Crowder. It's mainly just emotion. So, there were no really statistics provided by her other than she has 5 businesses. At what point do you draw the line like, hey, dog, I got 5 businesses. Maybe I should pay my workers some fucking health insurance. But anyways, we're going to concede that because here is the catch, okay? But first of all, let me just say that if you have 5 businesses and you are employing 50 people in 5 businesses, yes, I do think that you are probably having enough money off of 50 employees with 5 different businesses, 5 different entities to at least get your workers some health care. And if not, show me the numbers. I'll look at the numbers and hey, we'll hash it out. But anyways, here's the point. I don't think that there should be any reason for... Here's the thing. In my ideal system, and this is what we're going to get into, the employer shouldn't have to pay the workers the money. So this is something where it's like this, okay? If Bernie Sanders was at a genuine disadvantage in this, was that he is not a advocate in a sense of an ideal system of Obamacare, meaning his ideal system is not Obamacare, so he's at an inherent disadvantage. A lot of those questions that he was given would have been easy answers if it was just a single-payer debate, but it's not. It's an Obamacare debate because they want to go back to the times where if you had a pre-existing condition and you want to get health insurance because you got diagnosed with a disease that needs some treatment, you're fucked, dude. Your life's over. Say bye, dude. Anyways, but here's the point. So that puts him at a no-go because what he should have answered, in my opinion, though, was make a little bit more emphasis on the 5 businesses, 50 employees, that it is a decent amount. It's not that small. But anyways, I mean, that's 10 employees per business. And it's a salon. It's a salon. Anyways, so the point here is what he should have said is, under my ideal system, a single payer system, there are no employee pays. This is simply a step in the right direction in which people can get their health care, they can work, and they can receive health care. And he should have said that basically under his ideal system, this wouldn't happen anyways. So Steven Crowder's thing is very misleading. The title literally says he's a piece of shit. How is Bernie Sanders a piece of shit? Like, what demonizes him so much? Like, for me, and I want to know, because I genuinely want to know. For me, like you say about George Bush, you say, went into Iraq and, thousands of Iraqi civilians killed, thousands of American troops killed, trillions of dollars wasted, taxpayer money, may I add, and all this different stuff. ISIS comes out of a power vacuum. Trump is saying we should have stole their oil. That whole thing, it's quite ridiculous. So the point here is that his misleading time, and to back to the whole he's a piece of shit thing, Bernie Sanders marched with MLK. He was, he came out as a mayor. He's done multiple things to defend Obamacare. and he's been advocating for minimum wage, which is a living wage, so that, hey, you work 40 hours a week full-time, definition of full-time, you should be able to live. Like, you shouldn't have to die and be like, if you're superbly, suffering because you can barely afford anything, you can barely get an apartment, so you can barely make rent. So he's the one advocating for things like that. He wants to bring prescription drugs into the country that are cheaper for the American people, dude. So all these different types of things. He wants college to be free, so it's like, Doug, like, you shouldn't be barred from getting an advanced education because you're in a financially poor situation, which you had no control over because your parents were the ones, not even you. All these different types of things, right? So we have all this different stuff. I just challenge you to bring up one thing. He was the one who voted against the Iraq War. He's the one who voted against the Patriot Act. All these different things. I don't know what it could be, but what demonizes, and I know Steven Crowder is a ridiculous, radical, but I don't know if Ben Shapiro is as radical as him. Some people say no. I don't fucking know. But these right-wing dudes are really crazy, and they've lost their compass.